You know how great of an opportunity selling on Amazon is, but you have to make a decision now. What business model are you going to go through with? My short answer to the question is it all depends on your experience, your preferences in a business, what you're good at, and your level of risk that you're willing to take. So in this video, I'm going to go over the 4 main types of Amazon business models, and I'm going to give you guys the pros and cons of each one, so hopefully I can help you out with your decision. Hey, what's going on everybody? Sam here for Millionaire Mindset, back with another video to help you grow personally and financially. Today we're talking about Amazon, the 4 main types of business models. Hopefully I can help you make a decision and find a business model that will really allow you to change your life, that will allow you to live a lifestyle of financial freedom, financial abundance. Whatever you want to do with your life, it is honestly possible with Amazon. So let's get started. The 4 main types of business models are going to be online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, private label, and wholesale. So we're going to talk about online arbitrage first. What online arbitrage is finding products from different websites, bring them over to Amazon, making sure there's enough profit margin for you, making sure there's significant demand and there's not too much competition on that listing. And you want to make sure you're buying products usually relatively in bulk quantities, not as much compared to wholesale, but not as little compared to retail arbitrage. It's kind of in the middle of those two. And there's unlimited sourcing opportunities. That's the main pro. You never have to worry about going out to a physical store. Another pro is that you can essentially bring products to your house and ship them out from your house. So someone from FedEx or USPS, whatever shipping service you may be using, will come and pick up the product, and you never really have to leave your house to make the money. It all just comes through on the Amazon app. People are buying on Amazon. You get sent out electronically. It's all digital. That's one of the main pros, is you never have to really leave your house. Another one of the pros is there's unlimited opportunities. There's thousands of different websites to go through. And those are the main pros, but some of the cons are, because there's so many different websites, that can be a bit overwhelming. So you want to make sure you're diving into one site, you're going all in on that site, you find a product that you like, and you're not, analyzing 1,000 different products, because that will really be completely overwhelming. Go with something that looks good and just get the ball rolling, see how it goes. Another con is going to be, it's a little bit more of an upfront cost compared to retail arbitrage, so it's a little bit more risky. You never really know if the product is going to be selling for sure. You want to make sure that you're not buying an insane amount of quantities. Maybe do a test order, or maybe do a certain level of inventory that you're going to feel comfortable with. So those are the pros and cons of online arbitrage. Let's talk about retail arbitrage now. So if you guys don't know about retail arbitrage, it is similar to online arbitrage, where you're finding products, but what you're doing is actually going out to the physical store, such as Marshall's, such as TJ Maxx, Home Depot, Walmart, Target. There's plenty of different places to source, but you have to physically go to the location. So that's what I think is one of the main cons. But one of the main pros is there's a very small upfront cost required to start this business. It's also quite easy to understand if you're a beginner to e-commerce. You probably will get the hang of it really quick. What you're doing is going to the stores, pulling out your Amazon seller app and scanning the barcode of each item to see if there's profit to be made on that item and to see if there is a demand for that item. So you're checking the bestseller rank. Usually I like to look for products under 50,000, 100,000 being the max that I'd probably go for. And you are bringing them home to your house, putting them in a box, shipping them out to FBA warehouse, and waiting for someone to buy the product. So you can get started with this business model for honestly a couple $100s, and you can see it snowball into a greater quantity. So that's why I think it is great for beginners. But some of the cons are, it is time consuming to go out to all these stores. You have to physically be in that store, you have to scan probably hundreds of items to hopefully find a good item, and you never really know if the item is going to be available. You never know if the store is going to have something. So it's a bit more time consuming. It can be harder to scale up if you don't have employees helping you out, or you don't have a source that is always providing you with high profit items to sell on Amazon. So keep that in mind. It all really depends. These business models depend on what you're looking for, your level of experience, like I was mentioning before, and what you guys are really looking to do with your business. So that leads me into private label, which is what this channel is mostly about. So if you guys are unfamiliar with private label, it is essentially putting your own brand name on a product that's selling well, sourcing it from China, and then putting it up for sale. So there's a lot of pros and cons about this. I'll go over the pros first. One of the main pros is that you're in control of your listing. You can control the price, the photos, the description. You can try to optimize it fully when in comparison to the other business models where you're jumping on a big brand listing and you don't really know how to optimize that listing further. Maybe there's something they're doing wrong that could be driving more traffic to the listing, but they're not doing it. So what I like about this is that you are in control of the advertising and the listing and all that, so you can fully optimize it to bring as much traffic to the listing as possible. There's also higher margins to be made usually with private label products, but that doesn't come without risk, so keep that in mind. There's also less Amazon restrictions. Usually if you get approved to sell a product, it's not just going to be taken from under your feet in comparison to retailer online arbitrage. Sometimes with those business models, you could find a product that's selling well, and all of a sudden one day you wake up and you're no longer able to sell it. It's just how Amazon works. They're in control. Another main pro, and this is huge, is you're building equity in a brand. So you're building yourself an asset that is hopefully going to be able to sell for some really good money later on, like 6-7 figures type of money. So honestly, pretty much the main pro is that you're building something that's potentially sellable down the road, and that's what I love about private label. But like I said, it doesn't come without risk. So some of the cons are it requires some more capital to start up with compared to retail arbitrage, and it can be hard to get a product launched. So recently, Amazon has changed how you can get reviews on your product. So it can be quite difficult to actually get that initial traction with your product, and you're never really 100% sure if the product is going to sell. Yes, you can do the number crunching and you can do your due diligence to see as much as you physically can see about a certain product, but you never really know until you bring a product into the market if it's going to be selling like you anticipated. So make sure you're not putting all your eggs in one basket when it comes to private label, because it may take a few products to really find a winning product that's going to be bringing you in steady income every month. It's also a little bit difficult to deal with manufacturers in the logistics of shipping a product overseas, but it's not as difficult as it may seem. You can hire somebody like a freight forwarder who will take care of almost everything for you, and it's not as hard as it sounds. It's also a bit riskier, like I was saying. You're not 100% sure if the brand is going to sell. Like, you're not selling a Nike pair of shorts or something like that, and you know that product is going to sell eventually. You know that someone's going to come around looking for some pair of Nike shorts. You have to make sure that the product is viable. So you have to do your due diligence, you have to do your homework, and you have to make sure that you're prepared to place another order of inventory if it is selling well. You're prepared to take a loss if it fails. You just have to be always thinking one step ahead. But I do love it. I do think it is the best long-term business model. It may not be the right business model right now, but I think in the long term your eyes should be on private label. So let's talk about wholesale now. Wholesale is essentially finding a product or a brand that you like, going to them and telling them that, hey, I really like your product. What would it take to set up a wholesale account with you guys? And you're buying pretty much heavy inventory. So you're buying some big quantities here, you're putting down some good cash, and you're bringing it in to your warehouse or to your home if you're just starting out, and you are either fulfilling it or sending it into the FBA warehouse itself. So it is a great business model because it's easy to scale up with a limited amount, but you do need a certain amount to start off with for these brands to take you seriously. Usually anywhere from like 5 on the low end to 10,000 starting off. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for these brands to really want to do business with you because there's so many people trying to jump into the game now. Competition is getting a little bit stiffer. And some of the pros are, once you find this product in bulk, it can sell year-round for you. So it could sell 24/7, 365 if you find a good product. And one of the main pros, this is what's amazing about wholesale, is that if you're running low on a product that's selling well, you can place another order. You already have the product lined up, the distributor lined up, and you can just replenish. You don't have to run out of stock, and you're just pretty much taking that traction from a big brand that's already selling well, and you're jumping on and you're getting a piece of the pie, and it's really easy to snowball into a larger sum of money. So that's one of the main pros. It's also a lot easier to get into categories that are a little bit more exclusive with wholesale, because once you have that account, you are able to sell some sort of electronics or some sort of beauty products that most other sellers aren't able to. But there are some cons as well. So this is a business model which requires some sort of capital to start off with, usually several $1,000s. You do have to jump through some hoops to land the wholesale accounts. You have to network with other people. You have to go to trade shows, and you have to find connections. You really have to put yourself out there trying to do good business with these people, and that can be a little bit more difficult. It also can be more difficult to find wholesale items, but once you do, like I said, the opportunities are limitless for you guys. It can really be a life-changing business model. I know people making 8 figures yearly with this business model. It's honestly crazy. But another con is, if you want to get to that level, it's going to require some patience and also some staff. So if you're not really wanting to manage a team or manage, a group of employees, you're probably not going to want to go with wholesale, at least in the long term. And you're going to want to think of another business model. It's a way to get started if you don't want to do that, but it is very lucrative. So hope this video helped you out. There are some people you can follow if you want to get started for wholesale. I'd follow Watch Me Amazon. For retail arbitrage, I'd follow Reezy Resells. Online arbitrage, I would follow ZachRosas95 on Instagram. Not really sure, there's other people out there doing it as well. Private label, you could follow myself or some other sellers I like, Matt Loberstein, Derek Lee, Seller Tradecraft, Tom Wang. There's some great people in each space, so make sure you do some homework, do as much research as you can about this business model. I just wanted to give you guys a general layout, how each of these work, to hopefully help you with your decision. Know that this is an amazing opportunity selling on Amazon no matter what you do, and I want you to get started. Take action today. Do something today to work towards your goals, whether it's doing some more research or going out and getting started somewhere else. But that's all I wanted to tell you guys about these business models. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next video. You can also join the Amazon FBA group, which I'll leave a link in the description for. But that's all. Thanks for watching.